Hey guys, welcome back. Erica was dozing off on her bed, so when a knock sounded on the door, it took some time before she noticed. She looked at the clock and saw that not much time had passed since she had lain down. Yes, who is it? I hope you have a good reason for knocking on the detective's door at an hour like this. That's right, and I have one thing to say before we begin this game. Oh, that detective proclamation thing, do as you wish. No, I mean the opposite. I say we raise the stakes. Raise the stakes? What's this? Now that sounds interesting. What do you mean? It's simple. Butler got a shot off at us in the last game, so if Erica does the same in this game, we're only even. Was it the last game a tie? We failed to win a game that should have been a shoe-in, right? If that isn't a loss, I don't know what is. Right, Erica? Yes, my master. If I hadn't failed so miserably, we would have won that game easily. Oh, I get it. So this time you'll intentionally fight at a disadvantage by not making a detective proclamation, and when despite that, you're scheming not to only wipe out your loss from the previous game, but to totally flip the score upside down, right? You intend to participate in the game Battler Sound poured his heart and soul into with a foolish handicap like that? That is not only presumptuous, it's quite rude. You've got a point there. It sounds more like an excuse just in case they lose. True, you could also look at it that way. If they win, it's a great victory, but if they lose, Erica's side has a nice little excuse. Isn't that a bit unsporting? Don't worry, this is bet is a balanced on both sides. If this game is won by a human without the detective proclamation, it'll be impossible for Battler and the others to pick up the pieces of the illusion of the witch. But on the other hand, if Erica loses, that detective trash will be sent into the depths of oblivion along with the worst possible fragment. See? That's balanced, isn't it? An ultimate victory with a mere human, not a Superman detective, destroying the illusion of the witch. She's putting her own destruction on the line to make that bet. I've gotten bored with these sluggish repeating games that you and the former Beto made, so we're raising the stakes and settling it all at once. Well, that is true. If Battler makes it through this game, it'll mean that Battler has won Beto's game and the game will end. If, in a sense, it's a showdown you can't escape, right? I see your position. Are you okay with that, Erica? Yes, of course. In order to regain my master's trust in me, which was lost by my previous defeat, I will risk even my own destruction. Is that of your own will? What's wrong, Erica? Answer him, okay? Obviously, this is my own will. I certainly will not lose. Even without the detective proclamation, I will defeat you no matter what. Battler, son. Sure, that's fine. If that's what you want, I'll accept that challenge. Thank you very much. I'll make sure you regret it. After all, when Battler played for the human side, he never had anything as convenient as the detective's authority. All he was allowed to do was use the blue truth to demand that Beto repeat things he said. Exactly. In a way, the last game was unfair. We failed to win despite that, which was why it was no different from a loss. Do what you want. If you feel like making a detective proclamation, do whatever you feel like. I understand that you're holding it in a reserve at the moment. As if I use such a thing against an opponent like you. They get started, you two. I'm already starting to get bored. Leave it to me, my master. I will destroy the illusion of the witch for you without fail. George and Jessica had been the ones knocking on Erica's door, and they were asking whether Battler and Maria had come to this room. Of course they hadn't. A good while ago, they went downstairs saying they wanted to get something to drink. We thought they would have come to your room. Of course not. Why would they? Are you sure they did go into the bedshed? We called the servant room the dining hall of the bedshed, but it was picked up. Please stay here, you two. I'm going to go check the mansion. Hey, they just go out this late. How could a stranger sneak into the sealed off island? Stay in that cousin room of yours. I'll contact you if anything happens. To also tell the servants in the guest house servant room not to leave the building. Bye. Well, wait a second, Erica-san. She's a strange kid. After speaking her mind and not listening to anything else, Erica had dashed down the stairs and rushed outside. The first twilight usually starts in the morning, but it looks like we got an early fight this time. No crime has occurred in the guest house, so that means the stage of the judge is in the mansion. Though she had an umbrella up, Erica got drenched as she sprinted. She rashly licked the raindrops that dripped down her face. Erica was at her most energetic. According to her memory from the previous game, the entry assault of the mansion would be locked after the start of the family conference. However, the lock was undone this time. Had someone unlocked it, or had the lock not been set, or had it not been possible to set the lock? Well, no point thinking about it now. After all, that might just be the whim of the game masters. As soon as she entered the entrance hall, the door to the parlor opened violently. Out of it flew Goda's large body. Oh, good evening, Goda-san. Is something the matter? Whoa, police, ambulance. The exposition really is wonderfully pathetic. Just perfect for the first one to discover the crime. Please calm down. How could the police or an ambulance get into an isolated island inside a typhoon? I'm sure the phones are out anyway, so please calm yourself. Yells from across the Rudolph's group could be heard from the parlor. Their shaken appearance perfectly signified the coming of the first twilight. While they're giving their victims a seat in the reconstruction of the situation, those who left to take a break didn't come back, so the adults went to the parlor. When they did, the door was sealed from the inside and they couldn't open it. You'll see later, but the hat stayed in the parlor had been used to bar the double doors from the inside. So you're trying to say the door was blocked from the inside and the windows are also locked from the inside. That's it. When they went around and looked into the parlor through the window, they saw Rosaline on the sofa in an unnatural position with blood pouring from her forehead. They then smashed the glass into the parlor and discovered that Mariah was also there, lying by the wall and covered in blood. Got it. Yes, that would make them yell at the crime scenes. The entrance was unlocked when you came into the mansion because they went through it to check the parlor from the outside. It had been locked before they left through it, so there was a chance that the others who had gone missing were lying elsewhere within the mansion, and the adults are now searching the entire building. So do the places the victims died match that long crazy delusion you showed earlier? They match. Rose and Mariah were in the parlor. Beyond that, Natsuhi was in her own room and Kari was across the study. Eva was in the Rose Garden. No way, she was moved to the VIP room, wasn't she? Yes, Eva's corpse was found in the VIP room. That makes 5 victims. That's what's short for the first Twilight, who's the 6th person and aware. Cross over the chair of the room is also set. Cut it. The culprit might be hiding in there. Go to do it. Rudolph and Cross had brought Winchesters from Kinzo's prize collection. They yelled at Goda, who was carrying the wire cutters to cut the chain. The victims have been found one after another at several locations inside the mansion. The men who had lost their wives searched through the mansion and arranged looking for the culprit. This was a guest room and had previously been a room where the relatives would stay, but it hadn't been used much since the construction of the guest house. This forgotten room had been sealed from the inside by the chain. As soon as the chain was cut, Rudolph pushed Goda aside and flew into the room. Is anyone there? Get out of here. There's someone on the bed. Let's get some light in it, Key. When Cross pushed the switch on the wall, the guest room lit up, and the figure light on the bed came into view. Battler! Damn it, what are you doing in a place like this? Rudolph these crumpled and fell over the Battler's corpse. No words could console him as he cried with that mad sorrow. Holy shit, they actually killed Battler. Wow. Just, wow. Okay, this is good. This is getting good. In a single night, he had lost both his wife and his son. During this time, Cross checked the window in the bathroom and searched the closet to find if anyone was hiding there, but found no one. Battler! Battler! Damn it. How sad. I can't believe it, but this room is also a closed room. But what, again? Yes, my study where Kari-san was. That's who he's room. The right room with Eva, the parlor with Rosa and her daughter, and now Battler cut in this guest room. They're all closed rooms, aren't they? I don't understand. It couldn't be suicide, could it? That's impossible. How could this be a suicide? Ugh, Battler! Oh, there's a surprise. To think that you yourself would be the sixth person. It's more interesting to cool yourself off every now and then. In all the crime scenes are closed rooms. It's a murder that couldn't have been performed without magic. This is this blah blah blah. Is it seen to the point of this game? Is this the point? Seeing at the point of this game. Okay. In other words, it must be a murder that could have been performed without magic. After all, if it really could be done with only magic, this wouldn't be a game. That is an interesting thought. Yes, so there's a sort of game we've been playing. This game is fair. The goal is to explain without magic the strange crimes that are claimed to be caused with magic. If it couldn't be done, it wouldn't be a game. In other words, as Erica said, they must be murders that could have been performed without magic. To turn it around, the witch side had a certain responsibility. They had to make a crime that could be reproduced with tricks and not magic. Unless the human side could see through those tricks, the witch side could use all kinds of magic and illusions. In other words, in order to carry out a closed-room murder with magic, it was necessary to create a crime that would be possible by human hands. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a few minute break here. Okay. Now I understand. I see why when I ordered the Seven Sisters to kill my classmates back at St. Lucia's, they couldn't do what I told them, and I understand the meaning of Mammon's words. Magic can only do what you can accomplish by your own hands, is that it? At that time, if a hand possessed the determination to kill my classmates, so that's not it. At that time, if I had been capable of killing my classmates, capable of pulling it off, then the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would probably have pulled it off for me. They could only accomplish what I could do myself. No, that's not it either. They could take what I had accomplished and turn it into magic. However, because there had been a great number of witnesses of that classroom, it would probably have been impossible. It would have been burned by the anti-magic talks that Mario, Nietzsche, and the others always talk about. However, if I had to call those classmates as somewhere without witnesses, and if I had succeeded at murder, at that point the Seven Sisters of Purgatory would be capable of carrying out a magical murder. Even without magic, witches cannot do things that they cannot accomplish by themselves. They can only adore things they're capable of doing with magic. Interesting, and that is because those who accomplish something without use of magic later claim that magic was used to call themselves witches. This Erica person has understood that since the beginning. That's why she would never surrender to witches. She is confident that it must be explainable with tricks. The old battler was toyed with so frequently because he did not possess that conviction. Once you see through that rule, the witch loses any chance at victory. That's why they have to make their opponent surrender before they see the truth of that rule. The longer the match is drawn out and the more hints are given, the greater the witch's overwhelming disadvantage becomes. Once again, this reasoning keeps spinning around in circles. Why did Vito let this game get drawn out until she lost? Many victims have been found in the mansion was still wrapped in chaos. Hideyoshi's group seemed to have gone to the guest house without worrying about the safety of the kids there. Cross and Rudolph's group was in the hall talking about what should be done next. During a short gap in this chaos, Erica dashed all about the mansion. She was checking the crime scenes. Normally, with the detective's authority, Erica had the right to openly investigate the crime scenes to her heart's content. However, this time she hadn't yet made a use of that authority. She was a guest and an outsider, so there's little to no chance that she'd be able to investigate. So she was forced to quickly check all the crime scenes now while she could still run about as she pleased. In the servant room, there had been a clear folder containing a sketch of the mansion's interior. Because she borrowed that, she knew the locations of all the rooms. Erica skillfully made her way through the mansion, dashing into each crime scene in turn. Lady Erica, I believe you know, but allow me to warn you just in case. Yes, what is it? It is true that you have an incredible photographic memory, Lady Erica, that combined with the detective proclamation is what made it possible for you to avoid being deceived by anything. Yeah, I get it. Since the detective proclamation has been made about me, even my photographic memory doesn't count as foolproof evidence. Of course, I understand that. Still, that doesn't mean I can't afford to mess with you in the crime scenes directly. After all, in the last game, my pride in that regard led me to a truly miserable failure. For example, by this argument, no matter how well you examine a person's corpse, you could not even guarantee that they were not faking their death with absolute certainty. Most probably, features of this situation must be individually confirmed by telling Battler to repeat them in red. And I'll need to use the blue truth liberally in order to make him. I understand. Let's start with the basics. The lack of the detective's authority is no handicap. It simply means that I'm fighting under the same conditions Battler once was. Yes, this fight is retracing the old days when Battler and Beto fought so fiercely. I have nothing as convenient as the detective's authority. I just have to be truly fight the same way the old Battler fought. Thinking of it this way, it may be true that I was given quite a favorable and unfair position last game, just as my master has said. It may be difficult without the detective's authority, which is also my pride and honor as a detective, but I won't let that be a handicap. I know what magic is, and I'm fully aware of how to fight with the red and blue troops. I know the way to fight in this game many times better than the old Battler did. I quickly visited the VIP room across the study and Natsuhi's room on the second floor, as well as the parlor and the guest house on the first floor. This time checking with my own eyes as I had failed to do in the last game. First of all, the scenes were made to look like closed rooms. Probably of special note was the fact that the master keys could have nothing to do with the trick. The closed rooms were all made without relying on any elements that could be locked or unlocked from the outside by a master key or something else. The windows were locked from the inside, and the doors were all locked and chained. A master key could get around all the locks on the doors, but not the window locks or the chain locks. I haven't yet had Battler confirm that it's impossible to manipulate those from the outside, but I'm sure as hell he'll be able to see it in red. It'd be stupid otherwise. I understand right now I'm a mere human. I can't even properly confirm the death of the corpses. Last time I neglected to check the corpses and let a massive bit of magic get by me. I won't fail like that again. If I did, I wouldn't be able to face the master I am so indebted to. We have checked all the scenes and finished gathering information. Here's our report. Go ahead. First of all, the rooms were closed rooms formed by the window locks and chain locks and the like, so that interference from the outside would be difficult. The only exception is the parlor where Rosa and Maria lay dead. Please allow me to speak. Let it be known that the door was barred with the hat stand. It is thought to be substantially the same as a chain lock in that it can only be set from the inside. It is probably their goal to construct closed rooms from where explanations using master keys are made completely ineffective. The parlor has no chain lock due to its very nature, so it's unnatural that something else will be used in a chain's place. In that case, the interesting question becomes why one of the other rooms with chain locks wasn't chosen to be a closed room. There were several guest rooms other than the one Battler lay dead and all with similar layouts, correct? Yes, that is correct. In that case, even though it should have been more beautiful to throw them in there so that everyone would be inside a chain-locked closed room, they did not. That a hat stand door bar in the parlor seems very suspicious. I should probably pursue this when demanding rare truths. Also, we have corpses, but are they have same absolute deaths with their necks sliced open like in the last game, which could be confirmed even without the detective's authority? Of course, she had checked all the corpses and all the crime scenes this time. However, without the detective's authority, she had no guarantee that she would be able to see through any fake deaths with certainty. The old Battler had also started fighting by doubting whether the victims were truly dead, if it was the same for Erica. Please allow me to speak, and know that there were no corpses that could have been confirmed dead without any certainty by physical means. Please allow me to speak. We cannot deny the possibility that any of these corpses might be a fake death. Well, I doubt Battler will easily confirm their deaths in red, even if I tell him to. Sheesh. I like Beto's chain of 6 closed rooms better. However, these closed rooms are even more complete, considering that the master keys don't help you at all. There are 2 general ways of breaking closed rooms that Battler might be after: an illusion of a closed room or an illusion of a crime. It'll be one of those. I get the first one. That's when something looks like a closed room, but it actually isn't, right? What do you mean by an illusion of a crime? An illusion that makes it seem as though a crime has occurred. In other words, are they really dead? Well, that's dumb. If the people inside are alive, heading any kind of closed room is like pissing in a toilet. Still, with this closed room, it's pretty hard to think of any other answer. What about the endless possibilities of manipulating the chain lock from the outside? We don't know if there are secret doors, ways to kill with this chances of suicide, or even whether these are complete closed rooms in the first place. I already know since I'm looking at Battler's game board from the underside, but these are perfect closed rooms. They can only be constructed from the outside, and there exists no method by which to deconstruct, or interfere with them from the outside. Could you say that in red? That'd be a little rude to say to read a Battler, so no. If you do love me, you must see my words as very truth already, right? Then the closed rooms are perfect. In other words, this is an illusion of a crime. It does seem that way. So these are all trick closed rooms. Does this mean that everyone got so pissed at Erica bragging about detectives and stuff that they joined together and set up a fake murder to make fun of her? Oh, is that the right answer? I'm like a super detective. Fortunately, this isn't a fake. The victims really have been killed, huh? And you don't mean by 24 o'clock on the second day, right? No detective proclamation has been made, but she's very accurate when examining corpses. She's good enough that I could give her examinations the red truth. So, does that mean that they were definitely dead when Erica examined their corpses? Yes, that's right, totally. But you want to see it in red for her, right? That was poor Erica. Must want it so bad. Well, she isn't even a detective this time around. I won't give her any red. Still, that makes it incredible. This time, Battler's really made a perfect closed room. Oh yes, I believe you're right. Well, Erica, be okay. It looks like an ordinary closed room murder at a glance, but this one is pretty nasty. Will this load be a bit too heavy for Erica without our detective's authority? She's a self-proclaimed detective. I'm sure she'll pull through. If Battler and Beto are defeated by a mere human who isn't a detective, they'd fall apart in the most exquisite way, don't you think? And even if Erica loses, you get to play back by throwing her into the worst fragment and knocking her into the depths of oblivion. Exactly. No matter how it turns out, it won't be boring. You really are heartless, aren't you? Well, wringing out this black cat like a towel and licking up every last drop is bliss to me. Beto's game board did not entertain me for quite some time, but we've already wrung everything we can from it. It'll be over with this game, so in the end, we really must let Battler and Erica bet everything in one final face-off. And I wanted to play with you forever in this game. What a shame. Come now, I've spent plenty of time with you already. Go find me another interesting game. If you do, I'll play with you again. Yes, you really don't let me get bored. That's okay, Birkenstow, seeing your face twist with anguish. It's the one forbidden honey I found for myself. Lambda Delta had guaranteed that it was a perfect closed room. Birkenstow had guaranteed that it was a perfect murder. A perfect closed room and murder. The witches hate a killjoy, so they haven't said anything with the red truth yet. Pursuing that was the role for Battler and Erica. Looks like you've trampled all over the crime scenes by now. Satisfied? Is your inspection complete? Yes, I'm satisfied. So about our war of red and blue. Shall we start right away, or do it all at the end? I don't like putting things off. I think the same goes for you. Then let's start with the closed rooms of the first Twilight. First, I'd like to check. Do you intend to respond if I ask you to repeat something in red? Depending on what you say, yes. I have no obligation to respond to everything, and I won't reveal my reasons when I refuse. Good, then let's start simply and confirm definition of a closed room. Delano, please read it aloud. Understood. We demanded the following be repeated. Delano spread out one of those scrolls that some official would always spread out when announcing the keen and western fairy tales, and read it out loud. First room is with the 6 people in them are all closed rooms. Acknowledged. Of course, it's only until Goda and the other servants, severed the chains and destroyed the closed rooms. A nod from the Lanark Cornelia who stood behind her started taking notes. Second, the definition of a closed room implies that it is impossible to construct from the outside. Acknowledged. In other words, no trickery done from the outside can construct a closed room, and it's not permitted for a chain lock to be reset from the outside by a cleverly used wire, for example. I didn't need you to tell me that, Delano. Please continue. Third, the definition of a closed room implies that all forms of interference that pass between the inside and outside the rooms are prevented. Acknowledged. However, I won't deny the kinds of interference that you expect from a normal person, such as knocks, voices, and an extension telephone line. Fourth, at the time of the construction of the closed rooms, none existed within the rooms except the victims, Asuhi, Eva, Kari, Rosa, and Maria Battler. Acknowledged. In this way, they could confirm whether or not the culprit had been hiding inside the closed room. If the culprit had stepped out of the room after the discoveries had noticed the murders and walked away, it would have been impossible for them to construct an illusion of a closed room. Because Battler had acknowledged her statement with the red truth, the possibility that the culprit and the victim had both been inside the closed rooms at the time of the crime, and that the culprit had hidden under the bed and still got after the discovery of the crime, had been denied. Fifth, no murder was committed after the deconstructions of closed rooms. I refuse. Why? Because the victims really were alive after the closed rooms were destroyed. So cross to the others who barged into the culprits to commit the murders then. In other words, they were post-closed room murders. Is that why you refuse? Not at all. The murders will continue to occur, so we cannot say in red that no murders will happen after this. Sheesh, what a twisted logic. You probably see what we're getting at. Cross's group cut the chain and destroyed the closed rooms and killed the people inside. I just want you to counter this. Lady Erica, it is insufficient to refer the Cross's group as an unspecified number of people. You should first determine which humans entered the room after the closed room was deconstructed. Allow me to speak. Excepting the victims, those who entered the closed rooms were Cross, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda. Allow me to speak. This is based on spoken testimony. Know that there is no proof that the others did not enter. I know that already. Let's have you repeat that. After the deconstruction of the closed rooms and excluding me, only cross Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda into the rooms. Sure, acknowledged. However, this is only applies to the current point in time. It is impossible that some. It's possible that some later development in the game will cause more people to enter. Repeat it. Cross Rudolph, Hideyoshi, Goda are not culprits. Butler put his finger on his chin, deep in thought. This word culprit was fairly abroad. It might serve to greatly restrict the darkness of the witch. Why not answer? If we refuse the Bluetooth name across the others as culprits will remain. Sure, I'll acknowledge it, but I'll make the language more strict. Cross, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda were not involved in the murders of Natsui, Eva, Kairi, Rosa, Mura, and Battler. And that means it was also impossible for any of the other humans who didn't enter the closed room to have been involved in the murder, doesn't it? Who knows? Think about it yourself. If you think you can build up some blue truth for how closed room murder can be committed without entering the room, then I'll respond to the red truth. However, with the red truth. However, I'll only need to destroy one of the blue truths. She'll be presented from here on out. In other words, even if you do manage to use the blue truth and explain this away with some long distance closed room murder trick X, I don't necessarily have to counter that with the red truth. These are the rules of the Witch's game, and to confirm these details with Beato in the fourth game. The Witch side lays out riddle after riddle that it claims are impossible to carry out except by magic. The human side must use the blue truth to argue that they are explainable with tricks. If they fail to make a kind of argument with the blue truth for either one of the riddles, that riddle will be considered to have been done by magic, and it will be impossible to deny the existence of a witch. In other words, a witch only needs to protect any one of its riddles. However, the human side has to fully explain all the riddles with the blue truths. Even if the human side managed to explain all the riddles with the blue truth, if any one of those is successfully countered by the red truth, the witches will win. That's why the strategy the Obito had adopted at the end. It was sufficient for the witch side to put off their red text counter arguments until the very last moment, then make a single strike at their opponent's most fragile spot. In any event, you refuse to repeat that last one, right? Don't get the wrong idea. I don't give out red for free. Oof. From the witch's side's perspective, repeating the statements made by the human side is just a supplement to make sure that they haven't misunderstood the question. Therefore, they had no obligation to respond to the extremely broad demands. Not bad. Looks like you can handle being a player on the witch side pretty well, too. Your experience is no match for mine. Delanor. Let us continue. Next, the victims did not die by any method other than homicide. Acknowledged. Of course, there were no suicides or accidental deaths, save at the victims. That's enough, Delanor. Are you sure there are still items? Yes, that will do fine. I've confirmed the status of the crime scene. From here on, it's time for me to argue back with the blue truth. Sure, fine. Let me hear your masterful theories. Though Battler and Erica were enemies, it looked at Beato as they were having a little fun doing this. She was probably slightly jealous of Erica. Beato thought back on the books she had read in Featherin's library in which the older her and Battler had fought. They must have been fun as well. Okay guys, I'm going to take a few minute break here again. Okay guys, I am back. During a short break at the family conference, a horrible, brutal mass murder had occurred. The 6 people killed, including Battler, had all been women. The remaining men went mad with rage at this cowardice, and then broke down sobbing at the sadness of losing their wives over and over again. Why were they all women? How cowardly can a person be? What's wrong with us? Here we are in the same roof. It was just smoking away, not noticing that members of our own family are getting killed, damn it. But who? How? They were not unguarded. The chain was set for all of them. Who gives a damn about that? I don't care how they were killed. I just want to know who did it. Hey, Gucci-san, Goda-san, were the doors and windows of the mansion all locked during the family conference? Yes, there could be no doubt. In accordance with the Madame's instruction, everything is always locked at the time of night patrol. Tonight was a special case, so everything was locked up right after sending the children off to the guest house. How is that possible? I mean, Battler and Maricha were inside the mansion, right? They shouldn't have been able to get in, right? If everything really was locked up properly, that couldn't have happened. Doesn't that prove that the building wasn't completely locked up? Well, here's arguing that Goda's failure to lock up properly might have been might have allowed a stranger to sneak in. At the very least, other than them know that Butler and Mario had visited the mansion. If those two had come and found everything locked tight, they wouldn't have been able to get inside. And if they had rang the doorbell, Godo would probably have heard them from the servant room, but Godo said nothing of that sort had happened. How they entered the locked mansion was a complete mystery. This is really an idea, but for example, what if the bidet or something happened to be near the entrance? Notice Butler, someone, and Mariah, someone knocking on the door or ringing the bell and let them in. That couldn't have happened. You were in the servant room then, right? Godo-san, is there a chime in the servant room that goes off when the front door opens? There's no way you would have missed anyone. Well, at that time, Godo was serving drinks as you requested, so he was not in the servant room. But why was there only one servant in the mansion on such an important day? Why was someone as important as Gigi-san on duty in the guest house? Does it make any sense? Why was the servant room left empty? My wife formed those shifts. She probably hoped that Godos would be kind enough to serve some fashionable drinks throughout the family conference as well. But cross me, son, this is the family conference, right? The most important day of the year, right? Why was Godos-san left as the only person on shift in the mansion? If there had been just one more person, everything would have been different, wouldn't it? Right? With a half-crying, half-enraged, jumbled-up expression, Hideyoshi yelled at Godo. Did he say he yelled at Godo? Did I read that right? Yeah, he yelled at Godo. Okay. Of course, the culprit who killed everyone was the most to blame and the most despicable. However, even if he understood that, he needed to let off some of his emotions by hitting someone he could see. I am fully aware of how everyone feels. However, please calm down. Either Godo-san was a thorough when he locking up, or someone let Butler-san and Mariah-san in after they came back from the guest house and then forgot to lock up afterwards. However, that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how the culprit snuck in. After all, the mansion is massive. They might have had come in much earlier and hid until late at night, for all we know. I can understand that you might want to suspect certain people, but please calm down. Our guest is right. The culprit is the one we should hate, not the servant who just happened to be on duty. At any rate, let's calm down. I feel as terrible as the rest of you. However, we must take the initiative now when we regain our composure. Anarchy. Everyone feels just as devastated, and none of us will ever forgive the one who did this. For that reason, we must regain our composure. He's right. I still have George, Krusty-san, and still has Jessica-chan. And Rudolph-kun, you still have Inch-chan waiting for you to return, right? It's still too soon to start pointing fingers. The culprit is still on this island, and we can't be sure that this tragic crime is over. We need to stay calm and prevent any further tragedies. Erica's words softly consoled them and gently admonished them. If Servant had said the same thing, Rudolph would probably have jumped on him. However, since it had come from the lips of the guests, a neutral party seemed to reach their ears. Let's stay cool. We have 3 grown men with us and guns as well. Judging by the pattern of the murder, such as the culprit having guns are low. In other words, as long as we keep our heads, the culprit no longer has any way to touch us. As she's right, we can't let the culprit do as they please any longer on our island. Let's find the culprit. We're in the middle of a typhoon. They can't escape from the island, and there's only so many places they could take shelter from the rain in. This island is larger than you think. Unfortunately, it would be difficult to search the island with this many people. After all, if you find the culprit, you might shoot them to death on the spot as you are now. If the frightened culprit runs that deep in the forest, you won't find them easily. Right, we should just wait for the typhoon to pass. We have the boat call the police for us and let them thoroughly search the island. The police are incredible. They'll bring hundreds of people and pick through it with a fine-toothed comb. That forest may be deep, but I'll definitely smoke the culprit out. The most important thing now is to make sure no more of our beloved family members are taken from us. Rudolph, if something happens to you, what will happen to Inch-chan back home? Kari, Battler, damn it, I never had a chance to tell you the truth. Cross-san, I'm sure that everyone in the custody room is extremely agitated right now. If you show them that you've regained your composure, I'm sure that will help them relax a lot. Would you mind heading up there? Good point. We have to talk with everyone about what we're going to do next. Please go up with them, Gigi-san and Godo-san. I'm sure that Shunin-ken and Kumasawa are all very agitated. Yes, I'm sure everyone is quite agitated. Are you certain? Is there anything else we can help with? That's why I want you to go with Cross-san. I want you there to help him when something happens. I'd like for the rest of us to check to see how everything's locked up here. We'll head up soon as please go on ahead. Understood. If you need anything, please call us. Genji bowed and Cross nodded. Cross also nodded to Erica, then headed up to the second floor with Genji and Goda. In times of confusion, when only men are around, it's easy for a composed member of the opposite sex to take the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, she was able to control them quite naturally. Erica had wanted to get rid of the servants for the time being. Okay, in that case, let's get checking the locks. Our problem's going to be with the big window in the lounge. It looks like it doesn't even have shutters. If they smash this, we'll be able to stop them from coming in. Don't worry, the sound of glass special will be more than enough warning. We'll turn them into Swiss cheese. Quiet, please. I didn't have you to stay down here to check the doors and windows. Please listen calmly to what I'm about to say. When Erica lowered her voice, Rudolph and Hiyoshi realized that she wanted to talk about something secret. So they brought their ears closer as soon as they regained their composure. Listen up, this crime happened during a short break in the family conference. In that tiny span of time, 6 people were killed without anyone noticing. I can't imagine a crime improvised on the spot going so smoothly. This crime was committed by someone who knew the layout of this dimension well inside and out. Well, they didn't know. If they didn't know the inside well, but a short while ago they had attacked Goda, suspecting the servants of making a blunder. However, they had only thought that he had forgotten to lock up and were attacking him for letting the mysterious culprit sneak in. They had to consider that one of the servants they knew so well might have been taking those lives with their own hands. No, they hadn't wanted to think that. People can't easily suspect someone they know well of being the culprit. At the time of the crime, the mansion was locked on the inside, and only those involved with the family conference existed there. So Iniki killed Kara and the others, or am I supposed to suspect Hideyoshi and Nissan? It's impossible, unthinkable. I never even considered suspecting Cross-Nissan or Rudolph Gunn. All their siblings had excellent relationships with their spouses. True that Usha and Mia family may be strict with discipline and money, but that doesn't mean we judge our own families less than anyone else. Yes, of course, I believe that. I wouldn't dream that any of you would kill your own wives. Erica had already received the direct truth proof of Butler that they were not the murderers, so there was no need to argue that point. Cross, Rudolph, Hideyoshi, and Goda, none of those 4 were the killer, and yet Erica said this. However, what about Goda-san? He was in the waiting room for the whole time during the family conference in a position from which he could do anything without anyone knowing. Isn't it a little early to suspect Goda-san? Goda-san came to bring us drinks in the dining hall during the break. He was with us for quite some time. He couldn't have had time to kill 6 people. However, he might have been able to let the actual killer into the mansion. Precisely, Goda-san probably didn't kill them himself. However, it's very possible that he secretly welcomed the actual murderer into the mansion. Rudolph and Hideyoshi, stunned, looked at each other. They were family, even if one of the siblings would have be considered family. Though the siblings hated each other, it was impossible that they hated each other's wives enough to kill them. Eva and Rosa were 2 of the siblings, but none of the others could have any reason to kill Natsuhi, Kari, Butler, or the young Mariah. But to a servant like Goda, perhaps they were all a little more like complete strangers. I suspect the servants on 2 points. First, the victims are familiar with them, and there were no signs of a fight in any case. In any of the crime scenes. I think you know well that there was no disturbance at any of those kinds of places. I was thinking that too. Figured Kari was used enough to fight so she wouldn't get killed that easily without resisting. That woman wouldn't hesitate to bite your finger off. It does make more sense if the culprit was someone she knew who suddenly attacked her when her guard was down. Come to think of it, the same goes for my Eva. She knows a dozen kinds of martial arts. She spends every day practically wishing for some ruffian to attack her. She wouldn't have been killed off so easily. Then what about Rosa's son in the parlor? Do you think she'd be easily killed by a stranger without resisting? Well, she had her only daughter with her, and this tells us something else that's important. Something important? The culprit isn't just one person, right? You're right, both Rosa's son and Mariah were in the parlor. If they had both been killed at the same time, there would have been an uproar. Since the culprit was able to do that, there can't be just one of them. When it comes to Mariah, Rosa was like a quick-to-anger mama bear. She wouldn't cower in fear even if someone pointed a gun at her. I see, so it'd have been someone who wouldn't rouse Rosa's suspicion until the last second. Now we see that the idea of an unknown outsider sticking on the island is actually the less realistic option. The culprit is someone familiar with this island, and there's more than one. Huh, interesting. The culprit is someone familiar, and there's more than one. Erica's reasoning pointed clearly out at the ones they should suspect and guard themselves against. So you suspect the servants? Yes, understand the current circumstances, they are the most suspicious. The second reason is to suspect them is to close the rooms with the chain locks. Why do the chain locks make them suspicious? What if there was no chain lock on the closed rooms? then they wouldn't be closed rooms with a single master key. Anyone could make them. I see. The servants had to steal them with the chain so they wouldn't be suspected. Exactly. By setting the chain, they don't have to worry about being suspected. To turn it around, if the chains weren't set, they wouldn't be able to avoid suspicion since they hold the master keys. So the only ones who set the game from setting the chains are the servants. I'm not trying to protect them or anything, but if so, how did they actually set the chains? Is it possible to set them from the outside? Considering how they're built, I don't think it'd be impossible. Have you heard the story? Apparently some mailmen who deliver to apartments mailboxes are known to carry loops of wire with them. Yeah, I've heard about that. Apartment mailboxes often have similar adjoining boxes around them for the nearby room numbers. I heard they sometimes accidentally deliver letters to the room next door if they weren't careful. These mailboxes are almost always locked. If you put them in a mailbox into the wrong one, you'd have no way of getting it out. In that situation, they're supposed to tell the owner of that mailbox about their mistake, have that person unlock the mailbox for them, and retrieve the improperly delivered mail. However, the residents of that apartment would often be out, and going through the process would be a real pain. Because of that, some mailman would make a little tool of a wire with a loop at the end, and use that to fish the mistakenly placed postcard out through the crack of the mailbox. I've heard something similar from a friend of mine at a building management company. It's these aides sometimes get drunk who lock themselves in the bathroom and fall asleep. So to get them out there, they stick a thin metal tool through the crack in the door and undo the latch. Exactly. All agencies have little tools that can easily open things that normally can't be opened. Wouldn't be particularly surprised if the servants of a mansion had something of this sort. Good point. Once you figured out the knack of it, you probably could set the chain from the outside by using a wire. Yeah, we can't be sure that's impossible. True, physically speaking, one couldn't say for sure there existed absolutely no way to set and unset chain locks from the outside. Chains locks allow for the door to be opened a crack. If you stuck something through that crack, you should be able to manage it easily. It was very natural for them to think that. However, Erica knew better. Though it might be impossible in reality, the red truth had already declared that these closed rooms could not have been constructed from the outside. In other words, it was impossible to manipulate the chain lock from the outside. And yet Erica was gutting her thoughts with the illusion that only the servants could have constructed closed rooms with an air of solemnly revealing some crucial point. She steadily steered the situation in the direction she wanted. Every part of her serious face for the last few minutes had been an act. No, to put it in her words, is a detective technique for tracking suspects. Up until cross on what I told you, I'm not saying that all the servants are culprits. However, it's very likely that one of them is a culprit or has been assisting the culprit. We should split them apart and have people with guns keep an eye on them. Rudolph and Hiyoshi looked at each other again, and what she was saying made sense, and it sounded as though she was calmly smoking out the most suspicious people at this point in time. With her accomplished conversation techniques, Erica was clearly grasping the initiative. Even without the detective's authority, it's possible to control human nature to this degree. What do you think, everyone? Okay, guys, I'm gonna end the video here. I wanted to go along a bit longer, but it's 11:30 at night, and I gotta work tomorrow. So, yeah. Usually I don't work Sundays, but we're open New Year's Eve. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time.